Alright, welcome to Unit 4, Lesson 2, Solve Compound Inequalities Involving AND. So we're going to get into a new kind of topic with inequalities called compound inequalities. And a compound inequality is just two inequalities connected by the word AND or the word OR. Now, the words are not always going to be there. Sometimes we have to look at what the symbols are and translate those symbols into words. So first it says graph x is greater than 0 and x is less than 5. So here are the words x greater than 0 and x less than 5. What that would be in symbols is this. We can put these into this. The way that this is read right here is 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 5. Now, I know it looks weird seeing it written that way, but if you notice here, look at the way that our inequality is facing, and notice that it's facing the same way here. Just like the inequality here is facing the same way here. So what we did is we just put these two inequalities together. So let's actually graph it. And whenever we graph AND inequalities, what you should do is you should look to see what they give you. There's 0 and 5. Okay, and let's just go like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, when you graph them, let's graph each of these individually. So let's graph the x greater than or equal to 0. And we know it goes this way. Now let's graph x is less than or 5. Well, what do you notice happens here? What do our two lines do? So I want you to go ahead and pause the video and discuss with your group what you see now. Okay, what you see happening is that these are overlapping. Well, they can't overlap and go on forever in each direction. So the special thing with AND inequalities is this. AND inequalities tell you a range that your solutions are going to lie in. And whenever you have an AND inequality, you're going to put your endpoints. This should be an open circle. And whenever you highlight what's in between. So for AND inequalities, we're going to highlight in between because this is the only place we have answers to our inequality. Okay, now we have two examples of graphing, so I want you to go ahead and graph these two AND inequalities by pausing the video now. Okay, so I'm going to graph these, and generally when I see it's an AND inequality, to save time on graphing, I just put the two endpoints and then I fill in the spaces in between. Open, open, there we go. For 11, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Close dot, and highlight in between. Okay, now we're going to talk about solving AND inequalities. Yeah, sorry for my sniffling and everything, my allergies are messing up. So, solving these inequalities, and we're going to start over here, is not very different at all from solving a regular inequality. We're just adding in a little twist. So, if you see that it's like this, what you want to do is you want to get your x isolated, just like we always have. X is in the middle, but we want to get it by itself in the middle. Well, that means we need to get rid of the plus 3. And we know that to get rid of a plus 3, we have to subtract 3. But if you subtract 3 from the middle, you have to keep your balance. This is still like a scale. So we're going to subtract 3 over here, and, see that word and again, right here. We're going to subtract 3 from the left, the middle, and the right. You can't just do the middle and the right, the middle and the left. It has to be from each side to keep the balance. So we simplify and we get 1 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 3. And then we would graph it. On the right here, we have the same idea. We want to get x alone. And we see it's a 2 times x. Well, we know to fix that, we divide by 2. And we divide by 2 everywhere. If you divide by 2 in the middle, you divide by 2 on the outsides. So we get -1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. And then we would graph this. So here are 4 examples of you to try solving on your own, and I want you to graph these after you are done. So don't stop after you solve it like I did. I want you to actually graph it. So go ahead, pause the video and do that now. And here are the solution to those examples with their corresponding graphs. So I want you to go ahead and again pause the video and look over these solutions with your group. So go ahead and do that now. And then we have just a couple more examples to go over, and then I'll leave you to do 2 more. So those were just 1 step. These are 2-step and more than 2-step inequalities. So I'm going to start here on the left, and it's just going to work the exact same way we did before. It's just more steps. So we have 2x plus 1 in the middle, and we want to just get x. Well, just like if this was an equation or inequality, we're going to get rid of this plus 1 first. So we're going to subtract 1. So we get 2 is less than 2x, which is less than 8. Then we're going to divide by 2. And we get our 1 is less than x, which is less than 4. Draw our graph. 1, 2, 3. Open dot, open dot. Alright. Now, it gets interesting as we get over here on the right. Let's just start solving it like normal. We have this 3 that we need to move, so we're going to subtract 3. So we get 2 is less than -2x, which is less than 8. Now we have a -2 to get rid of, so we're going to divide by -2. But what happens when we multiply or divide by negative? Our signs are going to flip. Our symbols are going to flip, our inequalities. So we're going to get -1. This less than is going to become a greater than. X greater than -4. So this says a -1 is greater than x, and x is greater than -4. Well, what we should do here is if you ever get it pointing to the right like this, the best thing to do is to flip it so that your inequalities are pointing towards the left, just so it reads better. So that means we have to move everything. And remember, if it's pointing to something, it has to continue to point to it. So if we have -4, this inequality is pointing towards the -4. X, this inequality is pointing to x. And -1. So now this looks like something we're used to seeing, and it makes it just easier to graph. 2 open dots, and we highlight. Alright? So here are 2 examples for you to try on your own, and I want you to notice that on the second one, yes, there's actually the word here, and don't worry, whenever you draw your graph and look at it, it will make sense. So go ahead, pause the video, and try these now. Alright, so go ahead and now look at these solutions and pause the video and review them with your group now.